attach up to 5 standards to an individual criterion, just like I do with an individual assessment item. But after I'm done, all I have to do is click save. Click save. Okay.
What was the other way she
You
said?
didn't put a score in.
Oh, last step. Oops, I forgot to put a score in.
So here you go.
So this points thing. I have two things. Let's say I want my rubric to just be worth 10 points.
Oh.
Okay?
3 points.
And I am going to then determine, do I want all of my criteria to be of equal weight? Is one piece more important? In this case, I'm going to have them be equal, and I'm going to write 50% for each one.
That must be 100, right?
And as soon as I've added in those points and those weights, then I can save it.
So
That's just about the progress along the way of EDIFY, right?
Unexpected error.
50-50, the way, you know, because we are still looking at a standard by standard score.
Yes.
See, that thing I have to remember. Yeah, because I was about to repeat that same question I missed last time.
which was?
Which was like, well, we don't mix our standards. We can't have that in the grades. It's not in the grades. It's just about
That's
progress.
for
Mhm.
raw percentage score when you're looking at a test score if you're supposed to go on an assessment item or something like that.
I keep getting an unexpected error.
So,
Uh-oh.
notice that as soon as I clicked save,
Scroll up.
it
You
brought me
didn't drop
back
that point
to my
value. You need to
assessment
put at
builder
least something,
page where I
1,
just
2,
was.
whatever.
And
then
now,
save.
Did she do either of these? Show it, attempt, or show it review?
my rubric that I just created,
If this
In
rubric
my
was going to be
briefcase.
used on a checklist assessment as well as
I'm
an
going to
assessment
choose
item, you can
select.
use either of those, and that's just if the students are taking an assessment,
adds
they'll
it
see it when they
down
attempt the
below,
test or
so
when
I
they
can
review the
verify that
test.
it's here in the
Okay.
assessment.
If you're doing a checklist, it doesn't matter because the kids aren't going to
See that.
Then
It's going to tell you that you need descriptions on those.
Hmm.
I'm going to click save assessment.
Can do it. See how easy this is? This is me.
Nailed it.
So,
Can't do
the
it.
question is, well, crap, where did it go? I don't see it now on my
Save,
assessment
and then
briefcase
you're
page.
good.
It's gotta be in resources.
Uh-oh.
Where did it go?
So now you're back to the assessment page. So if you scroll down, nope.
No, it's going to be on my briefcase.
There's
tab.
that one you
How
just
come I'm not
created.
seeing
So
it?
hit select
Yes.
and then
Yup.
save
Make
and
sure your checklist
now
is
you're where she is. And you'll hit this
There,
drop
and
down
there it is.
and change it to checklist. Hit search
Okay.
And
and
there it
there's
is.
your new one.
Checklist, hit search. You'll never guess what I'm doing. I should have been doing this the whole time. Screencasting this while we're doing this. Dirk.
I lost mine. Oh, wait, no, there it is.
That way, if I have any stupid questions, I can go, we already talked.
Here's the last piece, you guys. Let's say you
Start-
create an
start doing
assessment and it's total junk, and you don't want to keep it, and you don't want anybody else to use it or see it. You can now delete it. So if you click delete, it's going to say,
Uh-oh.
are you sure? And then it's going to let you get rid of it.
Where's the delete button?
So if you hit the plus,
You expand on the
hit
Yeah.
go back to your assessment search tab. Click the plus
Oh,
here.
there. Plus.
Then you can
Okay.
delete right there or edit and make changes.
that's checklist assessment.
Where?
That's how you build one.
Go to back. Go back to your. Click that. Now scroll down. You can delete it or edit it. You
Okay.
deleted it?
This is what my screen looks like.
You don't want it in
And I
there?
still
I don't know
don't know
what I did.
why I need
It
that.
won't
if I
delete
already
it.
have a rubric.
Go away!
You already have a roof.
Yeah.
This allows you to give a teacher-facing assessment because I'm going to show you step 2 here in just
Oh,
a
okay.
second.
And it's all
Here's what I want to do.
different.
I'm going to very quickly go through those steps again. I just want you to watch
Say.
so you just see it all put together without any
I'm
interruption.
doing it.
Okay?
She's already talking.
So, Step one, if I'm going to give if I'm going to create a checklist assessment so that I can walk around my room, I can keep track of observations that I'm making of my students. I'm going to go to this location and I'm going to click create an assessment and choose checklist. First step, I need to decide where I'm going to allow my assessment to be seen. I've chosen my district. Next step, I need to provide a name for my assessment. Next step, I need to decide, is this a formative assessment or is this a pretty large observational assessment that I'm doing with my students? For the description, only teachers will be able to see this. Students will not see this description because it is only a teacher-facing assessment. Due date is not necessary. Tags make your assessment searchable in different ways beyond just the title. So, Mike has a great idea of putting your last name in as a tag so you can search for them quickly. Put your grade level. I'm going to identify whether or not I'm going to keep the default threshold settings at 80 and 60. And then it's time to attach the rubric.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you.
I can choose a rubric that already exists, that somebody else has made, by simply clicking select. If I click select, it places the rubric at the bottom of the page here. It says, oh, this is what you've selected for your assessment. If that's what I want, all I have to do is click save. If it's not what I want, I'm going to create my own by clicking the green button that says create rubric. Again, I need to decide my scope. I'm choosing my district. Choose my subject. Give my rubric a title and a description. I'm not going to identify the points at this point until I have figured out how many criteria my rubric is going to have. So, step one, I'm going to add criterion. I'm going to create one from scratch. Yep. Were we putting items in the title or just in the description?
Description.
Because so when you do a checklist, and you'll see this in a second, the title shows up as your column header. So as you're going across, you'll have the student names on the left. Your column headers are the titles of those criteria. So the shorter the title, the more contained it is, and the less you have bleed over and line breaks and all that stuff like that. It just keeps it tidy to have a nice, concise title.
Okay. So I gave my criterion a title and a description. Then I opened up the grading scale. I'm choosing one that already exists. I'm doing a yes/no scenario, so I chose a 1-point grading scale, and that just becomes easy as I move forward. I've checked the boxes at the bottom. And click OK. At that point, I need to add the description here. I like to write yes/no versus credit/no credit.
So she chose the criteria. She made one.
Yes. She created one.
At this point, I've got the word that they need to be able to identify as they read, their ability to do so or not, and I'm done with this. Next, I'm going to add
She
one more
clicked both of
criterion.
those for some reason. I'm not sure.
Everything repeats automatically for me. I'm going to create a new criterion.
So new, you go back over there and make a new one if you want to.
No, this is supposed to. If I click, hold on.
If you click the X here, click yes, since there's nothing there. Click the 1-point grading
Are
scale
you
box.
reviewing the steps that you just did?
Check
with the
both of
rubric
those
for
boxes.
right now? Just making sure.
Why am I
Yeah,
checking those?
sorry.
So this is going to add it to each criterion
Every time I go
every
down.
time you add a new one. And that add descriptions will carry those descriptions over. If that second checkbox is unchecked, every time you add one, you'll see the same grading scale, but you won't have descriptions. Which, if you're doing like
If
a
I'm doing a
an
writing
assessment
rubric,
exactly.
each of my criterion are going to be different for what I'm looking for.
Right, and your grading scale can be, you can use the same 4-point grading scale, but you might say like
Points of weight.
4 for this criterion means this, 4 for this criterion means
Right.
this, and so you can change that. But for this, keeping description the same all the way down is way
50, and then I
easier.
need to assign some standards. I can drag my standards over. Click save. It brings me back to my assessment builder page. My rubric appears right here that I just created. I'm going to click select. I know it's been attached because it appears down here under selected rubrics, and then save. Okay, so there is not my rubric, because that's a traditional one. But if I adjust this to checklist, aha, there's the bottom.
So we can do 3-point scale. That's a 3-point scale.
So, next step is, I've made it.
You gotta
How do I
see
actually
what
give
kind
it
of
to my
descriptions on those
So
grading
next to my
scale
data.
items.
Click search. And it'll be at the bottom. If you make one, you want it to go away,
Delete, got it.
expand on it, click
Yep.
delete.
Thank you.
Scroll down and add the rubric. Which, there's your new one, so click select there, that'll add your second one.
So let's talk about how you would give it to your students.
It's
Click on your dashboard. And go into one of your student courses. And this is where I go.
Assessments.
Then what?
Course.
Yep. Then what? You got it. Give checklist assessment. Josh, you want to say something?
I was just gonna ask if you wanted me to do this part since you.
Yeah.
If you wanna take a second.
Yeah.
Breathe because you see one here.
Go ahead.
Gonna shoot all of us.
So we went
No.
into.
No, it's.
It was.
So we.
Just.
I can run to the local liquor store.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. No.
We can move this to Hank and Don's if we need to. Yes.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I'll do it this one.
Yeah.
Hi. Yep, back here. All right. So we click Give Checklist Assessment. Now, we have a couple of options. First off, under your briefcase, you're going to see those checklists you just created.
Oh wait, no. Of course,
If
I'm
you're on
teaching.
this page and you realize that, hey, I don't see the one I want, what do we see right up here? Create assessment. So you can get to that create page when you're giving, and if you click give and go, oh, shoot, I didn't build that yet. Oh, there you go. It's right there. It's built in. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go to scroll down to the bottom, and here we've got a bazillion vowel pairs checklist assessments that we've made.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'm going to find the one I want, and what do you think I'm going to do? Select. Now, if I'm not sure, I can click the plus on the right-hand side, just like on every other page, and expand. I can view, here's what I said about that that checklist assessment. I can scroll down further, and I see here's the rubrics attached. Click that, and here's all of those criteria that this checklist is going to be judged on. So I look at this, and I see, hey, here's all these things I want to do. I'll minimize that. I'll click select. Now, click select. what do I need to do next? Any guesses?
Scroll down.
Perfect. Scroll down, because then I'm going to see begin checklist assessment at the bottom of the page. In your briefcase right now, you're going to have 1, 2, 3 checklist assessments, so this will show up right away. If you've built a few checklist assessments in your briefcase, this might be down just below the bottom of the screen, so you just got to scroll down to it.
Or if you get a red no assessment items found in the checklist assessment, what does that mean? What I screw up?
That's a thing I haven't seen.
Well,
So-
again,
So you click select.
I clicked my DIR one,
Okay.
and I went,
Again.
oh, but that
Well, there
did
you
not
go.
have that. It did not do that.
I couldn't type
Great.
anymore. Yeah, I've tried
So
it
now-
once and I've changed pages.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it, but
How come
So
yours
now
is
I
different?
click
Some students, maybe.
Mm,
begin checklist. Depending on your course that you're in, you might not have kids yet.
Nope.
Because you're still working on getting them enrolled.
Yep.
So you might just see the student name and then the things at the top and nothing down below. It's fine. You're not quite there yet, but
Isn't it
Laurel.
amazing?
yeah, I was just thinking.
What?
If I taught Laurel, if I were if you were working on decoding or phonics stuff, like how fast.
oh yeah. And the glory of this is
So here's like,
you pull this up on an iPad,
about these we can use.
you hold the
there,
iPad
like
sideways,
this.
it'll scale to the screen, and while you're doing this, if you've got an iPad here, you're just I'm doing Mr. Brown here. I don't know what his first name is. And all I'd have Marcus. And all I'd have to do on my iPad is bing, 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 straight down the row. If there's something that I don't remember, I said tug here. What did I mean by that? That's where that description comes into play that you put in, that I can statement. So you can say, oh, I put in AE, but it was, let's figure that out. And that's right there in front of you. And again, if you're doing this on an iPad for a quick, just kind of flyby assessment, evaluation, that's a really good way to put it together way ahead of time. And then when the rubber meets the road and you realize that in the craziness of your day you've forgotten things, there you go. It's all right there in front.
Forever after that.
Okay, so here's the best part about this.
That's
When your students take an assessment themselves in the system, it's going to provide you that immediate feedback, right? It's going to provide them resources if they aren't meeting thresholds. But when you give a checklist assessment, first of all, you don't have to do all of your students at one time if you don't want to. But as soon as you click finalize, that is going to generate data immediately into all of those reports that you have access to. And for kids that did not meet threshold or proficiency, they are still going to receive those resources that are attached to the standard that you were assessing them on. So it becomes like none of the power of the tool is lost in regards to providing support for filling in gaps that kids need. Okay, those resources will show up in like if you're doing your social studies class, it would show up in that resources little icon within social studies. So it automatically filters everything, and it's really awesome.
when I first saw this and when we first got through this, I thought of a kindergarten teacher that I worked with a lot. I was doing part-time music, and then I did 2 days a week. I would go to the kindergarten classes and work with the kids on reading. And she had this giant 4-inch binder,
Mm-hmm.
page after page of check sheets. And she would go through and have the kids, and I would go through and do the exercise and check. And then she would sit on a Saturday afternoon and just compile all of that information on her own. And I saw this and I thought, man, that would save every one of those kindergarten teachers so much of their weekend, because it does all the work for you. Like Megan said, it generates the standards data, so you're not calculating it all out. It gives them resources, so you're not finding out where those holes are based on where their check marks are missing. It all does it for you. And it's a great way to generate a lot of data, because it's really easy to say, hey, my kids learned something because I did this project in class, but all you have is the final product for the project, and you have to go back and remember, did they do this? Did they self-reflect? Did they X, Y, Z? Instead, you can do it while they're doing group work. You can stand behind them and, oh yeah, you're doing boop, 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 done. There's your data. And this one I was really excited about, and I was really excited about from a music teacher perspective too, because I got dinged on not collecting enough data because so much of my stuff was day to day. Are you acting within the bounds? Are you doing what's expected in a performance class? So something like this, I could have just added up and popped right across with.
You think too about the performance tasks for the science standards now. So much of that is project-based and observational, and there are all of these like really random checkpoints, and sometimes there's a ton of space in between them, and so how are you supposed to know what they know?
Right.
And if they're on the right track, this is such a great way to keep track of that information.
And when you come back to this, if you need to add your next group of kids, you can just click on finalize and do the exact same thing. Check the next set of kids, add their data points.
Or just give a new checklist
Or, yeah.
assessment. So, because if you unfinalize, what it does is it pulls all of that data and those resources back. And as soon as you hit finalize, it's going to resend them again. So if you, to avoid from that unsending, resending, you may just want to just create a new one just with your new set of kids. Or just wait to finalize it.
Yeah, the other option is while you're in here, you can put in these data points and just leave this page. It's going to save those. It's going to hold on to those so that the next time you come back, Fisher, Brown, and
Rear.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay, old man.
The first three, my eyes are terrible. The first three are all set, and all you've got to do is, pull your next three kids, and then close it. Come back, pull your next three kids, so on and so forth until you're done.
All right. I want to give you, we have 15 minutes before the other group is going to check back into this. I want to give you 15 minutes of solid work time. While that's happening, if you have a rubric, or not a rubric, a roster, let us do some pre-enrolling of your students, okay, into at least one of your courses. All right?
Okay.
So.
Are you putting your data in?
Okay.
I can
No, I'm gonna see if I can do it
do
different.
some
Once you do it,
and then tackle that.
No,
You can
that'll
do
let
that
you
too.
know how to
There's my notes.
work from a template
All right.
to create a second or
Tanya.
template. So this
Which
idea
course
where
would
I've
you
got
like them in?
a few kids
You can
who
put them in the math.
failed
In the
something, and I
math?
want to
Math
create maybe
four.
a mini
Math.
course just
Brown
for
field
them,
four.
just to push out to
Okay.
those kids.
Okay.
How do I
Let me
go?
make sure.
How do I start without messing up my regular
Which one do you
By
want?
the way,
Let's make it math.
all your kids should now be able to log in with Google. Okay. I'm going to.
Okay,
You're not going to make any
I-
changes to this.
no,
Okay.
let's say, yep, I just want to pull one piece out.
Yep. So
One piece.
publish. And maybe you want to give this a different title.
All right. Oops. Close all my stuff.
So what are you?
I'm gonna put some dibble stuff in, see if I can put some dibble stuff in there.
You're gonna need students in
That's
your
it,
course
that's,
first.
that just,
That's a really good point.
oh, so that's first.
That would make it.
So now
So-
I made a copy.
Can I create the assessment though? I can do that right now, right?
So if here's the cool thing. If you're gonna put Dibble's data in,
Yeah.
um, click your dashboard. I'm glad you brought this up. Choose one of the courses that you're gonna add.
I'll probably put it in
Because it's not
ELA.
in the
Yeah.
template stuff, and it doesn't have to be synced or anything, it's just this
Okay.
one tiny little.
And then-
Yeah,
course
so
that-
let's say you just wanted it to be.
So you'll click
Go through. If I just want it to be this
Assessments.
one, then
Expand.
And then you click course.
You don't want any of these lessons or many
Same
of these.
place as the checklist stuff
But
is.
it's the X.
And then
Simple.
you've got Dibble's entry here. And if you click that,
No, I know I won't, once we're more in that.
Are they-
I
you're using
start
Next,
well,
right?
for math, it's probably always gonna be
Yes.
this way.
And
I'm
would this
not
be
gonna use that
first benchmark
for most of
or
my
Yes.
instruction. I don't see that
Okay.
happening.
We aren't in the second
But
yet.
I see
You're
it
doing
happening.
fourth
That's
grade,
right, I
right?
see it happening as a supplement, and
Click.
especially in this situation for.
Perfect.
standards-based
So
fail.
then
Just keep going.
set it
You
to
fail,
benchmark
get back up,
for
here we
right
go.
now.
And it's
Select
good,
your student. So let's start with.
Well, I have
Uh,
I might have two students in there. Not yet.
Hold on.
What did you choose?
Let
So
me-
put your, why don't you put my kids in ELA then? Okay.
I can do that.
So what did you do?
Okay. Go to my dashboard, or your dashboard.
I'm in my dashboard.
All right, you would be second grade reading.
And I can put any, and I can put
Who's somebody at-
in there.
I already have in there right now Alicia Brady and Paul Hamby.
Okay, so I'll start with. I'll just go right down that. Perfect.
Assessments?
No, something's not right. Yes, assessments. I'm sorry.
That's it. There's nothing
No,
else.
something's not right. Okay,
And that
that's
tends to be
okay. Go
important
back
because,
to dashboard.
Now, in order for your students to connect with
This is
Courses
called
I'm
EDIFY.
I have to
taking. Where did we go? No. Oh, okay.
I have to.
What is that?
That's just a math group.
Um.
I could put my Dibbles,
so
my star math in.
Okay, so then assessments.
I just want to see where you're going. So.
Samantha.
And just a minute. Give me a second. Course.
Here's the, you're off to the races.
And then you have your choices over there. You
Running record.
Okay.
Like 4 lessons last night.
So if I put running record in,
So that must be 75.
I didn't, so they can do that in some ways? Or is that something
Yeah,
separate that
Janet.
you set up?
We have an audio recording assessment room. So that's
Shut up! I
So
know
you're
it,
second
you
grade,
guys
so-
see.
Josh is like, guys are
Quite
just
interesting.
crazy. And then you don't have a student yet, so but
I do too. It's
My battle's convincing her.
I love the idea of using it on it as a reflection item as part of the assessment, so like, yeah, I've gotta do all this writing stuff, but then, like,
yeah.
in 1 minute, tell me what you think how you think you've grown.
I
as a
wonder
learner,
if you
what you
collect
think your
data
next step
now
should be,
on
or,
test scores
something
and
where
then
if-
of
and if
kids
you
who
have to
are
write,
using
you
it.
get, like,
The
a
issue
session
is that
or two,
I'm
unless
also
they're
part of the
like
second
grade
math
rubbers.
leadership team.
But,
He
asked me to talk.
Okay.
Our new principal has a laundry list of things that she just dropped on me last night that she expects done for the start of the year. So right now, in terms of trying to prioritize where we as a department is spending time, it's slightly daunting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's
find
an
time
incredibly
to
powerful.
discuss
Well, it's like working for like 2 hours last night.
work that's invested.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you guys were talking. I didn't even see you.
Sorry.
No.
That's nice, Mike.
Tell their parents.
It's just.
It's not this. It's
I
just
got
this
you,
one
poor
part.
thing.
Your
Let's
kid's
see.
No
smart.
excuses, that's what we
No,
do.
but you're
Here's
taking
how
on a
I
lot.
do it. Listen,
Here we go.
Okay.
what's that?
I'd help you if I
Yeah.
could, but I don't know anything about high
Which
school.
has also been weird because it's always been like
99%
I've
of the kids
either
we
been
put into
near
the
him or
grade
between somebody and
have
him. So it's like,
amazing
hey Josh, what?
cognitive
Oh, you want?
abilities
Oops.
around stories.
Nobody's
That's-
talking to you, you're so.
In reading, but
All right,
So
they're
now-
both in there.
So you've got those
I
two.
try
So if
all
you
the
click
time to push audiobooks on,
her
you know,
name.
like, there's-
Okay.
Now the benchmark is going to show you the 3 benchmark periods, and you can change this to,
it's not the
since
easy
you're
way,
using
it's-
next,
It's
Um,
the most accessible
click the
way
drop
right
down,
now,
click
and-
next.
Yeah.
So how
And
did you
then
do the
What
voice
this will
thing?
do is if you look,
Third lesson?
if you look
Give their kid
here,
away.
it filters the inputs.
That they put
So
into
Right,
our.
the story's still the
all of the
story.
inputs are here for each grade
book is
level,
still the book. The ideas are still
but when you
the
just
ideas.
select 4th grade,
Okay.
that's the only things you need.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, you'd put in your date assess,
Do you
which
see it anywhere? Cause like I don't.
Kickstand RF 3.4. You want to search.
December. I printed it
Yeah, I got
today,
it.
but I don't know.
Super powerful, and it
I got my star.
I guess it's one of those things they have to
I'm
chip
gonna
away.
go with September 15th-ish.
Perfect. So you can
Which one? RF.
So then you just select the date from the calendar. Say September 15th.
Dot B.
And then you can put in your numbers.
Alright,
So
she's right here.
You go to
So she
search by
got 16
global.
And I think how much the kids will realize.
and then put in your errors, which is
Girl, I wouldn't know what I.
This one?
I would have had to give it to her
Reading.
myself, and I didn't.
PROS something.
and if
Yeah.
you have those, you can.
So I don't. Maybe I don't have to put them in. Hold on. Let's
What do
see
you
if
need?
I just
Um,
accuracy
And we're,
percentage.
and we're
Well, the
just
accuracy. So if you do
85.
This
I
one?
get that
I
automatically.
think so.
right, so what it'll do
Oh.
is it'll do the same thing.
I was
So
just
if you
looking at, I was just
had what
grading
was
it.
it,
I wouldn't even- I
69
wouldn't even see the lesson. It's like reading.
You
Oh,
are
out
not
of hun- out of
authorized to view
100,
this
out of
so
100, so
she-
she would have 40 or 31.
That's what it says. Sorry,
What'd you
you
click on?
Incorrect.
you are not
So 31
authorized.
pairs. And then retail fluency, you've got. Is that
That was
30?
weird. I clicked the middle button and it said you're not authorized.
19
So then-
here, and then retail.
This is what he was
quality.
watching?
So retail fluency is 19, and then what's your
there's this thing you
days?
can do on
Her
Google right now.
days.
So-
Creates this weird Star Wars
I
sound
just
effect
saw it, and
sometimes
I
when
lost
you're
Oh,
in
here it is.
YouTube or in other Google
Adjusted
apps. So it's
score.
fun.
So days adjusted is 10,
So this is
and
what
then
it came
you
up?
come down here and you hit save.
No. I don't think
And
so.
now for her first
You're looking
benchmark,
at the
you've
lesson.
got
I can show you.
9% accuracy,
What are you
I
trying
didn't
or
to
is
do?
see
that?
the
She
lesson.
was-
So it was 85. So it wasn't out of 100.
I'll look
So
at
then
the lesson.
85 must go there.
He's trying to show me the rubric
Oh.
where
So
you
85,
he added the
85
voice
would be the
component in.
calculated, which means this is
Okay.
probably like.
And you're on the rubrics? Oh, you're looking in lessons.
Well, that's where he told me to go.
Reading, prose, and poetry.
Close.
So I just
What's the
put
ID number?
Whatever they got their percentage correct, I
982.
just put that as a single number in there.
Dot 3, dot 4,
Because if I put 85 in
Yeah,
there,
but it's at
it
9,
would-
8.
Well, what it'll do
8206.
is it figures out your accuracy. It figures out your accuracy value, and then it figures out your. It'll do your composite for you. So 147 is.
See the grade book?
So yeah, because it looks like it doesn't count errors in.
Yeah,
This is just a
I can
kind
give
of
you the
a.
question ID numbers
That's
that
why I
we
wonder
want.
if I would just want to put it in
Don't worry
my
about
own
I
assessment.
think we got
Or if you just leave correct, you can
I was
leave the
trying.
errors blank. It'll
Failing.
not give you an accuracy percent, but you still have your composite score. Now,
Oh, so they read that. Okay, now
one
show
of
me
the,
what
one
you
of the
did.
nice things about this is we are
Here's the lesson that
Mm-hmm. That's what I clicked. I clicked that. But
we're in development.
we want the
of a
assessment.
Review
report
assessment.
that will put all
so
of
you can
this
go through it
information
as a student one and
into
see
a
what it
nice
is they're going to see, and there's all those different.
digestible
And then
visual
it
format. So
that
like
will all be
your
spit back
benchmark
to
1,
them.
your benchmark 2, your benchmark 3, so that
Okay.
just like everything else,
That's what I
with
was just
performance stuff,
So I could
you
sit a
only gotta
kid
come to
down
one
next to
place.
me
You don't
having
have
him
to
do
pull
this
out
and
your
they would
Dibble stuff and pull out your
Right.
records and pull out
record
this
what
and
they
that and the other
heard.
thing. It's
And
just
then
pop
where
in
is that
EDIFY.
going to go then?
Here's your performance graph.
So at that
Here's your
point,
literacy
when you
graph. Here's your
when you go back to your
this, that, and
dashboard
the other
and you
thing.
are in
So,
your course,
So if I go into my dashboard
kind of up to you how you want to do it.
and let's
but
say it's in this course.
for
Okay.
I'm thinking for like
you
down the
would click
road,
on
putting this
assessments,
stuff in to here.
and then if it's an
You'll have
assessment,
those, so you
like
can
in that
look
case,
at
it
that
was attached to
individually
a
and see.
lesson. So
Right.
you would click
You
on
know,
the
first
lesson,
benchmark, I had a lot of kids in the
and
green
then
zone. I
if
had
the
a couple
assessment was
kids in the
attached to
yellow
this lesson,
zone,
it's
and I
going
had
to
a
show
lot
up
of kids in the red zone.
Yeah.
right
Second
here.
benchmark,
all
you know,
the
your
students
yellow
that
is
it's
way
completing.
bigger,
So
your green
next to
is
each student,
about the same,
There'll
and
be
your
a-
there'll
red's
be a
way
button that
smaller.
says
And then
review.
third benchmark,
Okay.
you can see that your
Click on
green is
that,
way
and
bigger,
it lets you
your yellow is really small, your red's
Let's
really
you
small.
review.
And you can see benchmark to benchmark where those, what students are crossing over between those zones.
Okay. Maybe I'll wait till that gets put in there.
But if you, I mean, if you start on the data entry now, you're that much more ahead of the game. A lot of that is, so a lot of this calculation piece that's here is, we
I'm
did
gonna
that because a lot of
impersonate Mike.
teachers just had the written sheets. So
Yeah.
all it had was, it was pre-processed. It was not processed
Right,
at all. So they
right.
just had rough scores, and so we
Okay.
figured, hey, you're looking for your accuracy percent, you're looking for some of these other values. you don't necessarily have a service like this where you can parse it through and get all that in a nice hard copy, well laid out.
Yeah.
This is that for
Yes.
you. So it does a lot of those things. And
But it's good to, like you say, to have it in one.
But okay, look,
you have
if
it
I
in
can
one
kind of
spot.
One spot.
Mhm.
And you can, you can pull this up and say, here's your Dibble scores, and then you pull up the performance
You guys
report
gotta
and
get
say,
I don't know how that.
here's some things
it's
that
okay.
kind of line up with this. You've got some literacy
No, but that's a
standards. You've
frustration.
got, it's like, your content standards are
For you
awesome,
guys.
but you're struggling to read.
Okay,
You're struggling to
Review. Okay,
or
so
maybe
and if
vice
it
versa.
says this, we
Their
know that we
literacy
need to
stuff
look
is
to see
fine,
where
but
they
it's
where they screwed
or
up.
subject or content area that they're reading, and there's very like content driven words that they're
Yeah.
struggling. I mean, you can get kind of
Yeah.
that cross that big cross section of data between the two pieces and kind of put them side by side and figure out what's
Yeah, that's like, because we have papers for our DRA, we have papers for our dibbles, we have papers for stars. So, but to have it all in one spot.
yeah. And
So-
that's the thing is you won't have the
When I put Josh in here, so his was 31 correct.
Did you get what
It stops.
Oh, that's Paul.
Paul.
Sorry, I gotta change that.
If you compare with the standards,
So
it
that's
stops at
okay.
this 41. It's just
106.
Just go that next page over.
and then
Those are really easy to add.
That's why I started looking at it and I was allowed to.
There's a format that has to be in file with. There's two strands of the ISTE standards that we're using. The fifth and sixth one. Date. It only goes one to four. And then,
oh, okay.
so we just need to get this in.
I have
It's pretty
21.
Do you have
simple.
the yeah, the import document is another YQ CSV.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, that's my
Where's
classroom,
the-
second grade. That's pretty
I'll just
bad.
show you.
It's like you almost have to take
Basically,
this
she
out.
just built a rubric for the standard and we put the strand in there.
Okay.
Because, yeah, mine
Basically,
only tells me
just
how many
switch.
I got right.
Your
If you're looking at it this way for students, it just
Okay,
stops.
so I'm
in
looking
this
at
one.
a student and I can look at all the assessments.
Oh.
It stops here, but I think we just
That
didn't
they've
go that
taken?
next page
Yep.
over.
You know why?
But this is what you're gonna show us, right?
I didn't have access to that second page when I did
This
this.
is the
Okay,
series
well
of
then
time.
that's why.
Perfect.
So
What they've done, what they've done well, and what they've screwed up on,
So did you
correct?
get 6 wrong? Like, I don't know what.
it seems similar to student input,
It's
but
a
I
lot
don't know.
Let's
download.
say
No,
So
they're gonna
for
show up
me-
red
If you
like that
feel
if
up
they
to
were
it,
incorrect.
you can give it a
I would
shot,
For you.
but it's a lot of
For me,
reading.
but not for them.
Right.
Because
They
then
only
I
get
file.
they only see that.
Correct.
Right.
That's my help with that girl.
I
But
didn't
this
have
whole
access to
standard
that
will
second
show
page
up red for me if it.
Just for you.
That's
Just for you.
When I did it the first
it-
time, I didn't have
The
access.
standard
All I had
itself,
was 1 through 4,
Like when you're looking
which
at
is why
that
5 and 6
performance
aren't
by
in there.
standard,
Because I never had this.
it may not be red. It depends on. That's
It's
taken on.
the exact
Hey, I'm glad you
All
asked
of
though,
your
that helps
students?
us too.
Okay.
You know,
So,
or I mean, you could narrow it down just to
document,
this
make sure it matches.
It's really is.
So
Depends
here's
on
what
how
you'll want to
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Here comes the fun stuff.
So you can at this point you have options.
Okay.
You
I got sidetracked
can
a
click
second. I'm gonna keep adding
on
students in,
finalize.
but it's
Okay.
kind of
Well,
a.
that's kind of
But
a-
if you've
and
got,
it's
I mean, you've got a
gonna
couple you
pull
can
that
start
data back
with,
that's
and
already out
Sorry.
there.
no, it's
Right.
fine.
And any changes
All
that
of
you
this
make,
is vital.
you can do like overriding
All right,
the
so we've got
score,
our document. We
So
did
if you think that
ISTE,
it was just the day,
and
and
then
they
Yeah, because I didn't have to.
usually
I
get
did
a
let me-
score than
more
that.
so we've got
yeah,
ISTE.s.
you could go in.
So this is one
and,
thing that you're going to want to start every one of your standard codes with,
Maybe they just need one
and these will be
question
all.
overridden, but maybe they just need the opportunity to completely retake the test, and you can do that
There we go.
in a couple of ways. You can either
So you
allow
don't
for
need the
retakes
parent
to
standard
happen,
code because each
or
of these
if you
is going to be
click
their own
reset,
standard.
Yeah,
that
So all of your
wipes
things are going to
everything.
start
So
out
they
with
start from
Let's say they had
ISTE.
just an awful morning and it just screwed up their whole day. And
Dot
you're like, okay, you're
S
gonna take it again
dot,
tomorrow.
and then
you
it's gonna
just
be like
try it
5
again. You
to
can
start.
retest it. Okay.
So
So, yeah, I do
when
like
we
this
get into
review page
this,
because
your
once
document
you're in
name.
here, if you want, you can, like when you're dealing with your whole class, if you have more
is
than one student,
ISTE.
you get arrows
Your
right here,
document
and you
code
can
is
Just keep
ISTE.
go
flipping
through.
through them.
Yeah, so if you've got questions,
And this is
that
going to be the
require
same
you
straight
to,
down.
provide response, like you need to listen to those
Right.
questions, or you need to
And
use the
then your
rubric to
year
grade.
is
You can
2008.
do the grading here, and then
your
finalize
subject
those
is
questions, but then just
technology.
click the next button. It takes you to the next student, but it doesn't take you out of
Your
this grading
domain.
page.
So where do I?
is ISTE
Where does it
standards
say?
for
I can look
students.
here and look at their thing and say.
Well, here, let me
And
give
then
you a
your
better example.
strands will be like if you go back to that document. Your strand would be digital citizenship and then technology. So then what you're going to do is your first code is going to be ISTE.S.5a.
Here?
So
so
strand,
this
so
one.
that would be 5a. Your, yes, 5a.
Dot A or just A?
Capital A.
I looked at this one. This is one.
It's right on my.
And then your
I can see
strand is
full class,
digital
which is really nice.
citizenship.
So if you just click one student.
Click review.
And then what you can do is,
Oh, I see.
if
Next
you
student.
go back to your document a second.
But where do you
Standard for
grade them
students. So
then?
you've got A, B,
So
C,
this
and
was
D.
an auto-graded
So go back
assessment.
to
If there
your
was a
CSV.
question that required grading, it would tell
Click
me.
and drag, like highlight that section.
There's a note that
highlight
appears here that says
from just
expand
row 2
all items that need review.
from
Okay.
there
Okay.
over
Oh,
to
You
all
also
of
get a
yeah.
notification
and then
When they-
just
when
click
they've
the corner and
finished
drag it down
and
4
it's
times.
ready for review.
Okay.
I can do all of it in the
Okay.
backspace.
So yeah, so you can do
A, B, and
like
C, right?
if
Right.
like this second question
And then
had a rubric attached to it, you would just
You got
expand
A, B,
it,
C, and D.
Dot 4.
That's
fill out the
4.
rubric. That's
then
it'll show
click
up right
here.
here next to the
No.
question. Information. Click save.
Because if you
Done.
look,
We're just
And then,
Native Americans. We did a
you
government
click
thing.
fi-
and
Oh,
I
this
always-
this will
Yeah.
say unfinalized, so you
So
would
it's-
it says click
I
here
don't
to
know how I'm
finalize.
gonna
You
feel
click
and
about
there,
then
that
put your
later.
standard description
Save.
as
Save. Okay.
and then the
verbatim
grade
the
was sent
sentence
to the
that's in
student.
there.
You just click the next button.
I tried
Just
it.
go to the
and
next
it
student
was
for the
weird.
same
Correct.
assessment.
You're
So
doing
the
great.
I
font
think
is
I
really
should-
nice.
And then
should stop the
ISD,
rest.
ISTE
That's cool.
dot S,
Yeah,
or
and
second
like,
mention is maybe
if
ISTE
you-
dot S dot
Yeah,
6A through whatever.
Like, hey, you
Oh,
need to
great.
retype. I
Yeah,
deleted
it
this.
pulls up right there. You don't have to.
It's about that. I'm
I
Anyway.
just
Sydney's learning new things as we
If they
go
do
too.
big
stuff
It's
Great for everybody.
here,
Okay.
and you can.
So now I
Look to see if they're about if they're staying at 60, then you know that they just didn't really get it. But if you one day was 90 and the next day was 60, you're like, okay,
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So hopefully I get really versatile in this.
You're doing a great job.
Hey, you guys.
I have absolute faith
I
that
think
you'll
we
do
should
fine.
take a 5-minute break. It's been pretty intense.
I
They're
hope
on
not.
a
They're all
conference
right
call.
home.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're on a conference call.
they could. They just left you here.
Yeah. Taking the Shoelace Express.